Oh, yes. Yes, we
Oh,
are
wow.
here again this week.
Woo!
We're doing it again. Can you believe that? We're still doing this.
I mean,
Week
we gotta. We
after
have to,
week.
bro.
We still do this.
I
How's that make
mean,
everyone feel?
I mean, have you guys guessed if I'm wearing pants or not? I mean, just as a hint, I feel phenomenal right now.
Would it
so
I
matter?
know. I just saw you powder your nose before we got started. So
That's
Hey,
the behind the scenes featurette, bro. You can't give that
you
away.
can't just be telling
But,
people that shit.
I mean,
That's
you would
not
always.
cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a joke, everyone.
So-
in case it gets misconstrued. But Jerry, you're always wearing your assless chaps too, so it doesn't make a difference.
Assless chaps
First of all,
are
that was
very
last week.
much
That was last
needed.
week's episode.
Keep you warm.
All right.
Last week's episode.
I should do the intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Nerd Shit Live. I'm your host, pnapz. With me, as always, my co-host.
Ger, it's me. Hi.
Yep, there he is, Gercondez. You can find all of us on Instagram. Just look us up by our names. Come on, I don't gotta do this every week. You probably all the people who watch this follow us anyway, right? So what's the point?
I think so, pretty much.
And
Hey, people, tell your friends, because we don't have any more.
Right.
that's true.
That's been the
True.
problem. We're not
You
tell your
promoting word of
friends,
mouth. Yeah.
Tell your friends to listen to us, because that would be cool. You know?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
you think it would be cool if if you want to be that person that is always throwing things in your friend's face that you showed them, you
Yeah.
know,
You're the
and
first
we
to
want to
find
be
it.
that for
Yeah.
you.
How about this? I'll do it like this way, right? Hey guys. So this Christmas, think about your fellow loved ones, like us. Send a gift of more subscribers and more listeners. And that's
That's great. Let me know when you do that next time. I'll get some music queued up.
it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Some Sarah McLachlan, like
Yeah.
Sarah
I also love how you had the arm extended.
because I don't have like anything like robotic or anything, but we'll get that perfected later on though, for sure.
It just looked very sincere, like
Yeah,
you were reaching out.
come on.
But yeah, either way, how was everybody's week? Everybody's week good?
Great.
Yeah, can't
Fantastic.
complain. Pretty good.
Yeah. Everybody watch Game Awards?
Not all of it. No, not
Between-
all
I
of
knew
it.
none of you
Between
would.
everything
Here's
that
the
came
thing,
out this week,
I didn't
come on.
have plans to either, but I ended up being really tired. So I was just in bed and I turned on YouTube and I think I watched GameSpot stream and I saw like 2 awards and I think Neil Druckmann won both of them. So I was just like, oh, okay. You know, everything seems right.
Yeah, I mean, like, see, what I was doing was I had it in the background because I was doing some other stuff, and I would just see like, okay, and then before I see it, it's just like, oh, I've seen like Neil Druckmann a couple times already, like the background.
Did anybody watch Eddie Vedder?
Oh, I don't remember. I probably just have to.
Okay, so apparently there's a song in The Last of Us that Joel sings to Ellie. He teaches her on guitar. I can't remember the name of it. It's a Pearl Jam song. Eddie Vedder performed it though.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
I mean, I saw the Swedish chef, so I mean,
That was even
I
cooler.
can't believe I miss Eddie Vedder, but like I happened to watch the Swedish chef, so
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Eddie Vedder was like the highlight. And then like there was I'm trying to think of announcements that I saw that were cool. I missed the Perfect Dark one. I don't know where I was at, but I missed that one.
I think I saw that as well, like post, like when all the journalists like started doing articles and stuff. That's where I caught up like fully. Yeah.
Now, I believe we had a little wager between us. Did we not, gents? I think we did, right? I don't think so. I actually, what are these points worth? What?
I mean,
like,
if
we never settled on anything, and we were texting each other today. We were like,
Yeah, whoever
tiring.
lost was gonna pick up the tab at Cracker Barrel, but you know,
oh, it's true.
we just
True.
passed.
When's the next time
We
we're gonna
passed
be
a
in
million
Cracker
cases
Barrel,
in
though, you
one
know?
day today. So what was that?
wait, what was
When's
that?
the next time we're gonna be in a Cracker Barrel? You know?
I hope
They're probably
soon.
doing fine. They don't require masks.
That's very
okay.
That's true. That's true.
Very true.
Especially in the South, Cracker Barrels are doing great.
Yeah.
Cracker Barrels are actually known as super spreaders. If you look up a
Yep.
picture on Google Images,
Even before COVID.
We're gonna get
Yeah.
a lot of trouble for.
Well, they keep it old timey. They didn't have masks back then, so
Yep.
why
Yeah,
should
they
they
just
today?
have a pile of biscuits and like between people, and
Yeah.
that
Can't
worked
eat
just
the biscuits
fine.
with a mask on.
Please
Yeah, you
social
can't.
distance in between the biscuits, please.
Nothing is pasteurized.
nothing is nothing is pasteurized.
And everything is sacred. It would
That's where you get
seem.
the flavor. That's true. Very true.
All right. So, gentlemen, last
Yeah.
time we talked about the Game Awards, it was their announcement. We saw what the nominees were. We said that we were just going to take guesses on who we actually picked to be in the
Well, for the categories that we actually like cared about, though. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, the ones that
I think we only
really-
had seven categories. I forget how many there were. It
I
doesn't
think
matter.
so. Yeah.
Either way, so here are the categories: Content Creator of the Year, Best Multiplayer, Best Action Adventure, Best Action, Best Ongoing, Best Performance, and Game of the Year. So we're just gonna go right down the list and we're gonna fire them off. Okay, so we got a lot of time tonight.
Shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Content Creator of the Year was Valkyrie. I didn't know who that person was. I was upset it wasn't Tim the Tap Man. However, I heard that Valkyrie's been on Twitch for 7 years. So
What?
good for her. Awesome.
Paid off, right?
Congratulations. Next.
There you go.
So after so wait, who did everybody else guess? I said Tim the Tap Man.
I also chose Tim the Tap Man. Let me look up the. I actually have the
Okay,
list.
Nick, who'd you say?
I don't. Nobody got this one right. That's all. That's what I'll say here.
Yeah, I said Tim the Tap Man. We all doubted her. Shameful. We're a statistic. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
Jill and I said
Oh, yeah.
Alana.
Oh,
Right,
Rooster
right,
Teeth
you're right.
Funhouse. Right. Okay. So either way, everybody lost.
Yeah.
Next round was best multiplayer. Ended up being Among Us. I believe I said Call of Duty.
Yeah. Me and you, Pat. We did Call of Duty Warzone.
Mhm.
Joe was Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing,
right, yeah.
which was so like not even in the realm of possibility. Everyone complains about the
Stranger things
multiplayer in
have
that
happened.
game.
But here's the thing, Joe's
Among Us didn't have their own console, okay?
That's true. And then, but Nick won this category. He chose
did.
Among Us. Yeah.
Which
So-
fair enough. I mean, Among Us is a good time.
Mhm.
I enjoy Among Us.
Just give him something.
A
So
unique multiplayer experience.
That's true.
next was best action adventure. How did I not win?
That's I don't
What
know,
did I
man.
pick?
You chose Ghost of Tsushima.
What the fuck was I thinking?
That's why it was just like we were surprised too. 'Cause,
Me
like,
of all people?
yeah, of all because
Hmm.
like I during the show I just
I
looked at
was-
the list and
when
then like
when Last of Us won Game of the Year, I was like, well, thank God I went all in on everything there. I was like, because now I just swept.
yeah, because like everyone else except Pat voted for Last of Us.
Can't believe I said Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, it is a great game. So
Yeah,
that's what I think of Ghost of Tsushima, and you can't take that away. Seems
You
like you
played the
guys
game and
fucking
you win.
swept, though. You guys went Last of Us Part 2. You bastards. It's the only action adventure game you played this year. So best action was Hades. I've never played it. No one else here has, right?
no.
Mike Burke plays it. I know that
Good.
much.
Nothing to talk about then. Best ongoing, No Man's Sky. Another game no one here plays, right?
I played maybe like an hour and that was it.
I haven't touched it. Moving on. Best performance, Laura Bailey as Abby. There we go. That's a me right there.
Yeah,
I picked.
What did I think I
was like,
picked her, right?
I knew that Ellie wasn't gonna win.
I mean, she had her time to shine already. You know what I mean? It's like there's a new person on that pedestal. So, yep, Pat and Joe won this category.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Joe and I, we sympathize with Abby.
I was gonna say we
We're big,
recognize
strong, burly
women.
men.
Yeah. 100%.
And
Very
we like having
relatable,
sex
right?
on boats.
At the same time, working out.
And then
Anyway.
who'd you guys pick? Who did you guys pick?
For me, I put the guy in Daisuke Suki as Jin from Ghost of Tsushima.
Jin Sakai. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Nick chose Ashley Johnson.
Who even is that?
You silly. Weakness.
Was that it? That was a ghost from Phasmophobia.
Oh shit.
So then next we have fuck you, Joe. So then next we
Shut
have
the fuck up, bitch.
and final game of the year, which was Last of Us Part 2. This is very controversial because a lot of people don't like The Last of Us Part 2, but we're gonna get into how gamers review games a little later on the show. Wink, wink. Yeah, I saw this coming the entire time. I was like, oh, it's Last of Us Part 2. It's going to be. It was easily the most well-reviewed game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, critically.
What's funny is that I'm looking back at like the list of my notes from episode 11, and I was like, Joe doubled down on Animal Crossings again.
I didn't even play it, but I knew.
Really pulling for Animal Crossing when it's clear he hasn't spent enough time in Animal Crossing.
Well, I mean, for this one, I understand it. Like this one, like think about how people were talking about it, because Game of the Year doesn't necessarily have to mean like the best game of the year. It was like the sensation of the year. At least that's how I interpreted it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that makes
That's a good way to interpret it. I like that.
Well, apparently not. Last of Us won.
Oh, I tend to believe that game of the year is specifically chosen by like the press. Like that's how they get those nominees, and like that's how they vote on them.
Yeah, it's
so
90%,
like
it's 90% of the voting.
I remember the day before The Last of Us came out, Naughty Dog put out this picture of like Ellie standing in like grass with a rifle, and it was just every publication in gaming ever, from like small to huge, had perfect scores. Like all these quotes saying a masterpiece, magnum opus, it's genius.
Well,
like,
I mean, like, is that a surprise?
How I interpreted it.
Is that a surprise? Because we all knew it was going to be a masterpiece, right? So, Animal Crossing, that game had people who aren't gamers gaming. You know, like went over to John and Sarah's, and Sarah was playing video game. I'm like, you guys aren't gamers, but it turned them into gamers. So that's why I think that's where Joe was coming from too.
Fair
right?
enough.
No, I was just saying that just to be facetious.
But here's the thing: in defense to Animal Crossing, though, it also came out in the most pivotal time where everybody that was when lockdown started. So
did Doom, bro. Doom got snubbed this year.
So I'm saying I'm not accepting the results of this vote. I think Animal Crossing is Game of the Year, and I'm not going to let it go.
And it is 100%.
I mean, yeah, you did put that vote in. Yeah, you did.
You can do that. You can do that. Actually, up until you have up until tomorrow to file that with someone.
Yeah, we're getting a 2 million man Animal Crossing fandom march tonight.
You can go straight to the Supreme Court. You don't gotta have any approval before that, too.
Yeah, for Game Awards, they just totally bypass the whole, system.
For sure, for sure.
Straight to the top.
Either way, though, it wasn't as cringy. I actually kind of liked this award show. It wasn't really that cringy. It was just one guy on stage with a mic, and then they were videoing people in. So it really wasn't that bad.
Christopher Nolan, pair of shoes, though.
If Christopher Nolan does a video game, that would be so sick. But I don't think he's gonna. All right. So, with that being said, next up tonight, we complain about never having any news. There's not much to talk about. There is so much shit shoved down our throat in the past 48 hours. I can't believe what I'm about to say. So, Disney announced 52 different properties over the weekend for Disney Investor Day. I didn't watch. Was it like a live stream or something? Like, what the fuck was it?
It was a Zoom call. but they just put it on like cable
Jeffrey
TV,
Tubin
probably.
was in attendance.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's just insane. 52. Holy crap. That's
Okay,
nuts.
so here's where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna just lightning off these right now, okay?
Okay.
And then everybody's gonna have something to talk about afterwards. Got it? So just for
Do it.
Marvel alone, we got WandaVision coming January 15th. Falcon and Winter Soldier got a full trailer and a March release date. Loki got a first look, May 2021 release date. Hawkeye, late fall of 2021. The What If trailer. Kevin Feige announced Ironheart, Armor Wars, Secret Invasion. They announced She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Captain Marvel 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, an update for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. There's another set of short films coming called I Am Groot, starring Groot. Movies. They're not recasting Black Panther. There's another Ant-Man movie coming out. Doctor Strange is tied to the new Spider-Man, and there's a fucking Fantastic Four movie coming.
Oh god.
That's just
I don't know
Marvel.
about that last one.
All right, take
Star
a breather
Wars.
now. Yep.
Star Wars. Disney Plus is getting 2 Star Wars shows, Mandalorian, Rangers of the Republic, and Ahsoka for Rosario Dawson. Star Wars The Bad Batch, which is like a Clone Wars spinoff. Star Wars Andor Rogue One's Diego Luna. I don't even know what that means.
Oh, he's just starring in it. The new Andor.
Hayden Christensen's coming back as Darth Vader. Star Wars Lando's getting his own TV show. Nick, I'm sure that pisses you off.
We'll
Wonder
talk about
Woman's
it.
1984. Oh yeah, so Patty Jenkins is directing Rogue Squadron, which is, if it's anything like the video games, it's gonna be lit. Disney's also doing a Star Wars movie with Taika Waititi. Good. Star Wars is done. Moving on to Disney Animation and Pixar. Raya and the Last Dragon is coming May 5th, 2021 on Disney Plus via Premiere Access and in theaters. So they too are copying HBO Max's model of putting a movie on streaming and in theaters on the same day, except I think they're making people pay a premium for it. Not entirely sure. Baymax, based off Big Hero 6, coming in 2022. I've never fucking seen it. Zootopia Plus is a Zootopia series. Awesome. Princess and the Frog series. Moana. All this weird shit. The best one, though, coming is Lightyear. So Lightyear is a prequel or like a spin-off about the guy that Buzz Lightyear is based off of.
Okay.
And Chris Evans plays him.
Yep.
The Pixar film, and it's coming to Disney Plus.
I like that. Definitely has potential.
Sounds good. Has potential to be good. And I also like the fact that I could just watch it downstairs. There's some weird Lightning McQueen's getting a series. See, that shit doesn't matter to me.
Man.
Pixar movies. Lightyear, Turning Red. There's some Nat Geo specials with Chris Hemsworth and Will Smith. Chris Hemsworth one is about like pushing the limits of the human body, and Will Smith is probably just like traveling places saying "all hell no" and shit like that. Welcome to Earth. Oh, his show is called Welcome to Earth. His line from
Really?
Independence Day.
That's fitting. That's fitting.
And Chris Hemsworth is starring in Limitless. Ice Age is getting a spin-off series that is starring Simon Pegg. Then here's some news they tried to slip under the radar. Disney Plus is increasing its price to $8 starting in March. Disney's new bundle adds Hulu, Disney, and ESPN for $18. Disney Plus surpasses 86 million subscribers. Disney unveils Star, which is its Hulu replacement in international markets for right now, and then Disney Plus will add 50 new altogether. It's 50 new Marvel, Star Wars properties, and Pixar movies over the next few years. So I'm done finishing. I'm done. You guys talk about this. All of this is in context. Go.
I'll just say, as an
Wait, so-
outsider who doesn't participate in a lot of these, like throwback movies and a lot of stuff that Disney Plus has to offer, I'm definitely eating my words. I remember when they first announced Disney Plus, I was saying that if you have just that as a streaming service, lose my number. I don't want to talk to you. Just you can watch reruns of Cinderella over and over again. But now, now that we've come to this point, it means you have your ducks in a row. You know.
It's true. I agree with that. Like, it's kind of like, you guys watch 90 Day Fiance?
I've seen a few episodes.
We know of it. Yeah.
Okay,
I've seen
before
the
the
clip.
90 days, it's kind of like that one who was with the that crazy lady who was in her 30s, who was with like the relationship coach in Australia.
Mhm.
I can't remember his name. Either way, though, like that's what she only has Disney Plus.
Yeah,
that's the type
100%.
of person that
Mhm.
only has Disney Plus.
Mhm.
Like for sure, like a psycho, a real like underlying like I will cut your face off and wear it. Like
Right. But now that we have all these upcoming editions and everything that they already have in place, you know, again, it only makes sense to have it at this point.
And here's the
Yeah.
thing.
And Hamilton
There's
too.
Still more. There's shit that I missed for sure. I for sure like I didn't mention Obi-Wan Kenobi. I didn't mention
Oh, right,
Willow, whatever that shit is that Lucasfilm is doing. I didn't mention the fact
I thought
that
that
they're
was Will
doing
Smith's
another
show.
Indiana Jones.
Oh my god.
Oh
Yeah.
But
no.
not
With
Indiana Jones.
Harrison Ford.
So they are doing Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford, with James Mangold. He's directing, the guy who did Logan. So, you know, I'm sure they're gonna do that type of movie.
Okay, great.
You know, kind of putting Harrison Ford out to pasture pretty much.
He just wants to fly planes. That's all he wants. Like, don't.
And they were gonna
Don't make
pass
me
down
go
the
back.
mantle, like Daphne Keane, who played X-23 in Logan. They said before Marvel scooped them up that they were developing her own movie, so they always meant to pass the torch.
Right.
So they're gonna continue with Indiana Jones. So there's an Indiana Jones logo. However, I don't know if they said anything about what's it called? If it's a show or if it's a movie. Indiana Jones logo. Oh my god, give me a second. I'm Googling it. Okay, yeah. The next installment of the Indiana Jones franchise. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah. It's going to Disney Plus. There's this thing called Visions too. What the fuck is Star Wars Visions? Andor, Willow. It's all too much. It's all too much. Take it away. Take it away.
You want to talk about Star Wars, Jer?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, Pat missed High Republic on the list. That's the one that I'm really excited
Well,
about.
the title is The Acolyte, and it takes place during the High Republic years. So I think that's a good place for us to start, because the way I thought it would be cool to break down Star Wars is because you know how reliant Lucasfilm is on, like, let's just keep doing the same stories. Like, we need Skywalkers in everything.
Yeah.
So this is the farthest thing from that. It takes place like 200 years before the prequel series. It's the high point of the like the Jedi, and they're peacekeepers. So I think that's going to be so cool to see something that doesn't take place when Luke or Anakin exists.
And I think it's just where they have to do something crazy because they're not limited, right? Because they don't have to go off like, well, we have to match canon, right, in terms of whatever everybody has seen thus far. That's why Mandalorian has done so well, because it's just its own little thing, and then they could be creative as much as they want. And so I'm really excited to where they're kind of like more comfortable being more creative in this. They own like Star Wars now. It's just like they shouldn't be holding back anymore. So in terms of the Acolyte, yeah, like the High Republic, like you said, it's just like that's where the Jedi was at its peak, and I can't wait for all the fights if they're going to do that type of thing, because when Game of Thrones got finished, right, the writers of Game of Thrones, they were supposed to do something like Knights of the Old Republic type thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, nope, we're actually going to do another project. And I was so let down, even though I was just like, maybe like other people who were kind of like upset of how Game of Thrones ended, I was still super excited that they were going to go into that. So at least they're doing something like this.
Yeah, and this kind of like has Knights of the Round Table type feel, so that you're going to hear some like classic storytelling, kind of like the early movies did with George Lucas's inspirations from, you know, classic samurai stories and Western movies.
Yep.
So I think it has a ton of potential. But like Pat mentioned, Visions, that's going to be anime. It's from like a Japanese anime studio, and it's going to be an anthology series. So all different stories. I feel like that has so much potential. Like they could still do stuff that, you know, characters we know, but
Right.
you know, it can really do whatever they want.
And that's the thing where, like, whatever they want, and plus, you know, they kind of know how to do things now.
The problem I have with all of this is just you always have to like write in the same timeline that like the Skywalker saga exists in, or everyone's like, no, it's not real Star Wars. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I feel like this will break us from that.
Yeah, but it's still being written in the same canon as
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So
they
it doesn't break us at all. It's still doing the same thing.
Well, think of it this way. It's just like, for example, like Rogue, Rogue One I loved Rogue One. And that's where, right? That's the name, Rogue?
Yep, Rogue One.
Yeah.
Rogue One. And then, although it's within that, you know, tight timeline of right before A New Hope started, right? We still know the idea of like, all right, well, they need to get the plans for the Death Star, you know, and whatever, but they're still limited. You know, I still enjoyed it, but they were able to go out of that scope a little bit. And now with the Mandalorian, like you don't even think about Luke Skywalker, or, you know, you're just thinking about the child and the Mandalorian, and that was it. And then you start having like, you know, all these other characters that fall in line. I'm not going to spoil anything because there are some people who probably still haven't watched the newest season, but regardless, Joe.
I haven't watched the newest season at all. I'm gonna binge watch it this week though.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. But, you know, with this, of course they're gonna stick with something in that universe, because it compromises like on all like planets and whatever like timelines that these major characters like worked off from. So for example, like what did the Jedi look like, or who are the masters at that time? Like there's going to be more people who are going to be so interested and invested into those timelines towards like, all right, well, are we going to talk about Yoda again, or are we going to talk about like Mace Windu, or, you know, it's just, you know, it's just enough, you know. And
well, the only thing I can say is hope that Disney writes compelling characters.
Well, you got, I think for Visions, Dave Filoni is going to be working on that. So I think it's in good hands. I think that leads on to the next one. We'll just real quickly, the Taika Waititi movie.
Yeah.
I think he's got his track record. He's proven himself. I think that's going to be really cool, do its own thing.
Yeah, remember, this is all Kathleen Kennedy, bro.
I think hopefully she learned her lesson from getting burned on just like doing nothing with the sequel trilogy. I hope she's going to just like relinquish creative control to creatives. But then I have like the second tier of things that I'm like kind of hopeful for, which is like Rangers of the New Republic and Rogue Squadron and Ahsoka, Bad Batch, and the Obi-Wan series, because those are all like linked to older properties. But I think the people in charge of them really know what they're doing. And like I'm super excited to see Hayden Christensen come back as Darth Vader. Like that's so awesome.
That's the one I'm most excited for. Hands down. Like,
imagine
Revenge of the Sith.
Wait,
like, even though I don't think it's the best Star Wars movie, might be my number 2 favorite.
Really?
Yeah, just because I saw it at a really tender age.
Well, I can just imagine where, you know, they say that it's going to be Hayden Christensen, but imagine it's like, yeah, we're just going to keep him in the mask the whole time, and it's just not even him, you know?
It's just him yelling underneath.
Yeah. So we better have some, like, you know, taking off of like the helmet type thing, because we need proof. All right.
From what I understand, it's like an event series, so it's not going to be. It's just going to be like 12 episodes. And I did hear that there's going to be like a face off between Obi-Wan and Vader. So that'll be incredible. You know they're going to do it right. Like
so.
They have to.
perfected
You
everything.
guys want to
Yeah.
know something? It doesn't exist anymore because they took the website down. But back when they did like the movie pilot creators thing, right? When I used to write content for that forum, right? I wrote an article about this very TV show. This was like years ago. I didn't know
Yeah.
anything, but I said, "Wouldn't this be cool?" And then nerded out, and then
Yeah.
there you go.
Here we are. That's the most exciting story out of all of these
BDE.
10 shows.
BDE.
This is the rhythm
Well-
of the night.
Well, before we move on though, because we do want to move on to talking about Cyberpunk, because I feel like everybody's got a lot to say.
Oh shit, that came
Um,
out.
It did? Weird.
I'm still on Animal
I've
Crossing.
been playing it for 16 hours. But what I wanted to talk about beforehand was originally, before we decided to talk about Disney Investor Day altogether, Spider-Man 3 had some substantial updates come. So we already knew a couple things,
Yep.
but I'm just going to say it all together. Here's confirmed people being in Spider-Man 3. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane, Emma Watson as Gwen Stacy, Tobey Maguire as his version of Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield as his version of Spider-Man, Charlie Cox as Daredevil,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Jamie Foxx as Electro. So they're obviously doing Spider-Verse, like a live-action Spider-Verse. We knew they were doing that for a long time, but the cherry on top is that this officially ties into Doctor Strange and the Multiverses of Madness, which is coincidentally being directed by Sam Raimi, who directed the original Spider-Man trilogy.
I didn't know that.
So cool little piece of trivia right there. He also directed the original the only Evil Dead trilogy.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is fucking huge. Like I think Spider-Man 2 is one of the one of the greatest movies of that decade. So the fact that they're bringing all these people back has got me. And Daredevil. Like Daredevil's the only superhero show I've ever watched because I think they're all trash.
How long is this movie going to be? It's got to be over 2 hours, right?
It's gotta be. Well, here's the thing. I think what's going on here is that Marvel now sees that they make more money with one event film than they do with like 3 years of like solo films and then like a team up movie. You know what I mean? So I think that's what they're doing now is that like they can play a little bit differently. So they know everyone's going to go see Doctor Strange because it ties into like the WandaVision show. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to be watching that. So they're going to watch this. And here's the thing. If this shit ends up on Disney Plus too, you know, which is totally a possibility now, that is totally open. That like streaming service as a viable resource for distribution of film has entered the chat. Like that there's no putting that genie back in the bottle. It's pretty much
I
what
just
I'm saying.
have to say, the mentality that you're describing is like the one event movie will make more money, so let's just do that. That's what DC did, and they failed miserably. Like I understand the thought, but it's like the reason Marvel works so well is because the story, rather than just cram as much into one movie as possible. So I really hope it doesn't fall flat on its face.
I'm sure it's gonna be like, okay, so obviously, Joe. I mean, look, you guys know me. They already have my money. They could put out fucking.
It's true. What's done is done.
Yeah, like. You know what I'm saying? Like they could be like, "Oh, Wolverine takes a shit for 2 hours. I'm going to see that movie.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to see Wolverine take the biggest shit I've ever seen."
We need
So-
a Sam Raimi Spider-Man
And
and,
if it's
Evil
not
Dead
as
collab.
big as I expect, and I'm disappointed, I'll still say it was good, even though it wasn't as great as I was expecting. I'll never say it's bad. Either way, my point is that they have that trust built in with their fans, so they can play a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to build as many steps to the event film. They can do like 2 films with characters everyone already knows and like supported by their TV shows, and then do Spider-Man 3. Because Spider-Man 3 is not that far away. Well, we don't really know, or do we? I don't know. Like I said,
Who knows with COVID?
it all depends on what Wonder Woman does. If Wonder Woman's a hit, it's over. It's over. Movie theaters are KO.
What I want to know is more information about Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is the 5th attempt, or
I'm just ready for somebody to do those characters some justice.
It's okay.
Yeah.
it's
Just
impossible.
let
I
Marvel
think.
come
Is that
back. It's okay.
Marvel
It's
actually
alright.
has to make a movie with those rights, or they go back to Fox. So
Mhm.
there's gonna be Fantastic Four movies. That's a joke. It's okay. Never mind. It's
I was worried that you were serious.
It's like, okay, back up.
wouldn't that be the biggest kick in the balls if like Disney owns both of them, but they have to do these silly like contracts?
I think it's better than the other way around. Like, I don't want Fox just pumping out crap for no reason.
Yeah.
Got leftover money. Come on.
Yeah. So, hey, John Watts, who directed all of the new Spider-Man movies, Far From Home, Homecoming, and wow, there's a lot of Spider-Man in this movie. All of those, he's directing Fantastic Four. So it's in good hands.
I
you know?
hope, you can't always be, batting thousands. So.
Yeah.
We're
He's
putting
the doubter. He's the guy who's gonna get it. Like,
No, we need that sometimes though, so we could,
We do. We need the
we're
reality
looking up
check.
at the sky, but it's just like Joe's like there. It's like,
Yo,
guys,
Ger.
come on.
How
when
else
we
are we
saw-
supposed to romanticize M. Night Shyamalan's good movies? He has to make, he
Okay.
has to pump out bad
Like
ones,
this.
and we can remember him for the good ones.
When I first saw Infinity War, I said Infinity War was amazing. However, it is completely inaccessible by anyone who hasn't seen any of the prior films. That's what I said. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is because when we were watching the movie, Jer,
Yeah.
Joe looked at me and said, "All right, now who's that?" And I looked at him and I was like, "You had 2 years." Like, and we were watching the movie.
All right, it's not my
The
fault.
scene
A
where Red
janitor is
Skull
a
is
main
on the
character now.
mountain and he gives him the stone or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Joe thought that was Darth Maul.
I really thought that was Darth Maul. For a hot second, I was like, yo, this is the craziest crossover ever.
Yo, he's alive. What?
He's alive. I remember him from the first Captain America, but I was like, yo, Darth Maul? No way.
Like, I just hear him go, "Yo, they're really not crossing over Star Wars and Marvel right now." So we start. So I was like, it's not. I was like, it's just. And then finally, I went, just shut the fuck up. I'll tell you later. And,
I knew who it was.
yeah, but so what makes this funnier is 3 weeks later we go and see Solo, and after we see the movie, Danny and I go to Joe's house, and we tell Joe, we're like, "Oh, you're not gonna see it, right?" He goes, "Yeah, no, I'm not gonna see that movie." We're like, "Oh, okay." Darth Maul shows up at the end, and Joe just goes, "Yo, no way." We're like, "Yeah, we're serious, dude. Darth Maul
fooled
shows
once
up at the end." He
before.
goes, "Yo, seriously?" He's like, "Don't fuck with me because this will be the second time I will think Darth Maul is at the end of a movie in 1 month."
I'm thinking it's just like, it's all Disney now. It's just like, it makes sense. What? This is it. This is the ultimate crossover we've been waiting for.
I mean, they own everything.
Yeah.
Why
Just
not?
start putting Darth Maul in Pixar movies.
Can you imagine that major battle scene at the end of that movie where it's just all, the Avengers and all the characters, and then just Star Wars characters appear out of nowhere? They come out of a portal in the sky. That'd be great.
People would be like, "Ah!"
It's Millennium
Joe-
Falcon
Joe
just
and-
flying through.
Joe in 2 years from now, like, yo, I think Darth Maul was in Lightyear. Like, I swear to God. Swear
I'm
to
calling it
fucking
right
God.
now. I'm calling it.
Oh man, that was good. So glad you enjoyed that.
That was good.
Anyway,
Oh shit! All right, well, let's move on. Let's move on to the final topic of the evening. Was there something popular that came out this weekend? Came out on last Wednesday. If you were on the East Coast, Cyberskunk. It's Cyberskunk.
Oh, I thought they came out with like a new Roomba model.
Cyberskunk. Yeah, true. It's a new Roomba. It's called
Yeah.
the Cyberskunk, and what it does is it cleans up your shit. But yeah, so we played. So Cyberpunk came out finally after 8 years of anticipation. I will say though, I say that with a grain of salt because I saw one of the funniest tweets about Cyberpunk. It was from um have you guys seen the Instagram account Officer Jerry?
No.
It's
think
just some
so.
it's just some guy who like just pretends he's a cop and reports people who like try to spam their own page on like comment sections. Either way though, he posted like, yo, straight up, who didn't hear of Cyberpunk until like 2 weeks ago? And I feel like that's really a lot of people.
That was definitely me, yeah. I didn't know about it until like a few
because
months ago.
I had one of my buddies over on Friday while I was playing, and he didn't never heard of it before.
No, that's nuts though. I mean, like I could believe it in a way, because the thing is, in terms of like, is it during a certain amount of time, like let's say 2 years ago, was it still like a niche type of idea that people like can get onto? You know what I mean? Like there are people who only care about like Call of Duty, or there's only people who only care about, I don't know, Doom or something like that. So, I mean, I guess it's believable that some people just didn't know what Cyberpunk was. Well, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure it's believable, but either way, 8 million people bought the fucking game. So maybe we should get into it and talk about it, because I feel like, although I feel like a lot of reviewers quantified it, and we're going to talk about that really quick. Although we quantify it down to a number, I feel like this game in particular is not something that you can have too much of an objective experience with, because it's just so different for everybody else, and I feel like that is due to the ingenuity of the way the game is built and how the story is structured. But like, I don't know, but the bugs break the immersion. We're gonna get into it though. So yeah, so let's get started. So Jer,
Yes.
tell me how's been your Cyberpunk experience.
I've only ran to, okay, so I've been looking at, Twitter, Instagram, like pretty much YouTube reviews of it. I haven't been seeing the bugs or glitches that people were encountering. Of course, there were like maybe like a T-pose NPC here and there, and on the first day, and then like, all right, I do have problems with like frame rate, right? But ever since that, there was like a hot fix that came out. I think it was like just the day after it was released.
Yeah,
I've
it was
been
like a gig or
enjoying-
something, right? I
Yeah.
had that. Yeah,
But
that helped
ever
me
since
out a
then,
lot.
yeah, ever since then, I've been enjoying the hell out of it. I mean, in terms of the massive scope of the game, this is the first time where I've been actually taking my time, reading every line and everything that I find in the world, and just like reading shit and just listening.
Yeah,
And
I didn't
it's
want to
weird.
fly through this just for us to have a review. 'Cause I
yeah,
don't
I'm taking
feel
my
like,
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like this is a type of game where you just like plow through the story and then do some side missions, because I feel like a lot of the game's content comes from the side jobs and like the gigs and shit on the side. So, which a lot of them turn into like these crazy like quest lines, which are cool.
Mhm.
And actually, because of that, I actually bought The Witcher 3. I bought the Game of the Year edition. It was $10 on Steam
Oh, why
because
not?
of Cyberpunk's release. So I got like all of that. So I'm definitely gonna try that out once I finish this. But yeah, I've spent 16 hours in, and I'll say this. I'll say it's good. It's a good game. It's not great though. I don't think this game breaks any of the molds that it set itself up to do, but I don't think that it's this game's fault. I think this game has been in development for so long that other games have come out that already are doing the systems that this game does. It's just this game does them all at the same time.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
what makes it stand out. But they are stuff we're familiar with. No, the
Right.
crafting, the inventory,
The leveling up,
the
the choice of
level
dialogue.
dude, the level gating is a trick. Okay, it's still level gating. It's not like numerical level gating. but it's still level gating. It's like if you go to this area, you're gonna get your ass kicked. It's pretty much what it tells you. Because I've gone on those missions, and I've gotten my ass kicked plenty of times.
All right,
But-
we'll get that trending level gate. All right, just hashtag level gate. You gotta send it out. But I see what you mean, though. I see what you mean.
Yeah. Real quick, just about the story, because we're not going to get into story spoilers, because I don't even know where I am in the story. I think you're definitely closer to being done than I am. But either way, I think story's good. I think it's interesting and fun. I like V. I think V's got some attitude. I think he's fun to play as.
Yeah.
And I think the side missions that influence the main campaign are cool too. And
Yeah.
like that's all I can pretty much say about the story. I think it's going in a direction. There's enough twists and turns, and I appreciate that. You
Well,
know, they're trying to keep it interesting, and that's what I like.
I'm at the point where it's just like I already know that I'm gonna do another playthrough of it when I'm done. But
Oh,
here's
yeah.
the thing. Before I ask you my question about your gameplay, just for to let people know, even if they're not really caring to play the game, in the beginning you do choose 3 life paths, right? It's just like the background story or like what kind of person you are in this world.
Yeah, who'd you pick?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you about who you picked, but I chose Corpo, which is like, you know,
That's more like corporate espionage and shit, right?
well, that's the thing. I was like, oh man, I think it would be so cool to where just like, all right, you start knowing stuff already, and I just wanted to see the dialogue options, and it's pretty great so far. So that's why I already immediately knew. I was like, all right, I gotta go back and try another life path.
Well, I started as the street kid thing.
Yeah.
The middle option, I can't remember the exact name, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's been fun. What I want to happen is I want them to do a new game plus where all my stats and progress transfers over, but I can start off on a new life path,
I mean,
so I don't have to like totally like restart from scratch.
I mean that could be. Well, here's the thing, right? I don't know if CD Projekt Red would do that, but I know that modders who've modded Witcher 3, they've done something very similar to where like whatever that you've done already in the game, and plus of course it goes without saying this is going to be limited to PC players, unfortunately, but you know, you can have all your save game and then transfer over to like a totally new playthrough, and you're like this other type of character. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. But in terms of, you know, I do hope soon, and it can't come soon enough. Like
We
there's
just got to
next
get like 10
consoles,
people on
you know.
Twitter saying something, and we'll get it. Don't worry.
All right, that's good. That's good.
But I mean, look, I want to get into like I want to get into detail about some things. The first thing is the dialogue parts. I know you said you try every dialogue option. I started doing that, and then like I remember I had a 50-minute conversation with one character, and I just wanted to get the fuck out of there and start shooting. It was so the gunplay is okay when you have the right guns, and you're like fighting the right level people. When it's not, it's so unforgiving. It's like, Jesus Christ, like my guns do no damage.
Oh wait.
But I find the guns in the combat to be okay. I like it.
Yeah. No,
But-
I was about to say like it's a good point that you brought that up, because I wanted to ask you too. Are you playing controller, mouse and keyboard, or both?
Mouse and keyboard.
Oh, okay. I was about to say like I'm trying to switch in between the two just for like using the controller for driving, and then mouse and keyboard for shooting and whatever. But in terms of, I did encounter a problem where like, I guess it's just my game. I don't know. I didn't look it up if everyone else had this problem, but the legends for like the buttons, right? That's on the like bottom of the screen. It just keeps on flipping and flashing between keyboard and like controller, and it's just like I don't remember. So it's like I have to disconnect the controller and then, you know.
You know what? It's funny that you bring that up, because my Cyberpunk experience has been mostly okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just on a gameplay standpoint, game mechanics,
Okay.
it doesn't break the mold, I don't think, on any of that stuff. World building, yes. World design, hell yes.
Oh, I've never
If
seen
you
anything
can
like
get
this.
it
Yeah.
running, this game looks beautiful. I'm playing it in 2K right now. I'm getting in between like 60 and 80 frames. I know you're playing it in 2K right now. I think I'm playing on like medium settings. You're playing it like ultra.
Yeah, ultra ray tracing.
But dude, the one thing this game was supposed to be like there were so many delays because they wanted to get it right. They didn't want it to be broken. They didn't want it to break.
Yeah.
And I just feel like as a consumer, like everybody was let down hardcore, and you can see that because like they lost 29% of their shareholder. I mean, their stock price went down by 29%.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's
and I mean, like Joe, you watched the game be played on PS4.
Yeah.
So now listen, I know already that the PS4 footage that's like on the internet, I know that is worst case scenario.
Yeah.
However, I have seen the PS4 footage, like that would just be like a regular PS4 playing. It does look objectively worse than what I see when I play.
Oh,
so,
for sure.
But tell me what your experience has been though, because I know that it works, but I've seen it and it does look rough.
So again, from what I've seen secondhand, not exactly playing the game, but watching my roommate Dan play the game. Again, it's fine. That's the only way I can describe it. It's, you know, he's crashed, we were saying, like around maybe 3 times or so. The game has crashed, so that's been the biggest issue. But you know, occasionally some things will have to render when you you know, bring them into frame. It's fine though. It's again, like, it doesn't really hinder the gameplay that much. I remember the day it came out, I was watching, you know, a streamer who was complaining about the gameplay was just fine, but he was like, but you know, the issue is I lose clarity in the reflection of this puddle. I can't see my own reflection in it. It's just like, is that what we're concerned about now? Is the reflection? Right. So that's it. Like, I'm biased from what I've seen. Again, from what I've seen firsthand through PS4, definitely not ideal. I know that for sure, especially with, you know, some of the footage I've seen uploaded through PC gameplays. But you're able to get through the game.
Now,
which I feel like is just what you should be focused on. Is, does the game function fine? All right, then tell me about the game, you know?
Now, the problem is that, so I've had some bugs that have crashed me out twice. I've had some bugs that I've had to restart missions, and I've had some bugs that I've had to like restart checkpoints. So it has hindered my experience in that regard, as well as trying to tweak my settings endlessly to even get the performance I'm at right now. So that kind of, you know, that for me kind of just is like really fucking annoying, at least in my regard, in my perspective. And I just feel like the game as a whole is not as innovative all around as it was expected to be, because to deserve the treatment that it's getting. Whereas like dude, some of these, like 80% of the people still have PlayStation 4s and Xbox, you know, Xbox Ones, you know. Not everybody has PS5s or PCs, you know, especially during a pandemic. So I don't know. It's just disheartening to see that, like, they told us that they would delay because they didn't want this to happen, and then it ended up happening. And the reason that it happened was because the executives tied their year bonus to the review scores. So they were working as hard as they could to put out something that would even run halfway decent, so they can get good reviews, so they can get their bonuses.
I don't think it's a direct tie, though. That's just no way.
It's certainly influenced by it, nonetheless. For sure.
Well, if it's influenced by it, then they would have, like, all right, well, we gotta. Sure, we could take certain shortcuts, but not to the point where, like, they know what's gonna be the end result. So, like,
I mean, the game was overly ambitious, though. For sure.
I mean, but it's also like a situation where, like, damn if they don't, damn if they didn't. You know, like where if they were gonna, you know, delay. I've been seeing like so many Twitter posts or Twitter on the Twitter feed where it's just like about Cyberbug 20. That was like the trending hashtag. There's like, oh yeah, they should have
76
or something like that. Well, it's like, oh, they should have delayed it. They should have delayed it. But these are like the same people who are like, they've delayed it too many times. We need the game now. And then
Yeah,
and it's
that's
just
true.
like there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
And
I
get
don't
it.
like that mentality. I don't like that mentality. I'd
Yeah,
rather you wait till the game is done and then give it to me. But
Mhm.
I mean, this is the reality of it. This is how it's come out.
Yeah.
And look, if your system can run it, awesome. If it can't, I'm sorry. You know,
Yeah, just wait. Just wait.
Just
I will
wait.
just say, circling back to what you said in the beginning, Pat, that it is totally subjective too, in regards to the gameplay. Everything that I've seen during the Corpo gameplay has been really cool. I can't even say innovative, but it's definitely like kind of floored me from some of the missions that they give you.
That's a good. I mean,
But,
that
like-
sounds like a good experience to me, though.
But
You
like
know what I
I've
mean?
played better shooters, I've played better stealth games, I've played better RPG mechanics. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I've played better versions of those mechanics, but this game does all of that shit.
Yeah.
Like and
Right,
it does it it's no slouch. It does it confidently enough for me to be engaged, but I'm just not like it's not hooking me. It's not sinking its hooks into me like I am when like I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Mhm.
Or like I really want to play that Phoenix Immortals Rising game from Ubisoft.
Mhm.
Like I would like to play that game, but I feel like I have to play Cyberpunk right now, like just to finish it, at least finish the main campaign. So I feel like I'm obligated to play this right now more so than I want to play this when there is something that I do want to check out. So
Okay.
I'll put it like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
come back to this next week, Again, you guys.
For sure.
That's true.
For sure.
It's still
That's
fresh.
true.
So.
That's another thing is that I thought it was important that we just talk about our experiences as opposed to like an objective review
Mhm.
because this is one of those games where like it's not meant to be just rush through the main campaign and do some side stuff. Like you need to
Well, you
like
wanna
take your
your time,
time,
Yeah.
like take in the sights. So we'll come back to this next week. Joe's right, and we'll just talk about what our experiences have been then, and
Yep.
we'll see where we're at. Because like
I think it's too soon. It's
I
too
just
soon to
hate
say,
the
yeah.
fact how like I'm 16 hours in, and I only feel like I've done like maybe 30% of the campaign, and that's because so many bugs have crashed my game, or like I've had to restart stuff,
Mhm.
or like I'll show up to a mission and the guy I'm supposed to talk to just will ignore me, and then
Oh,
like
I haven't done that.
and then
haven't
I
seen that.
killed myself with
That's
a
just
grenade,
the aura you give off.
and then I came back to that spot, and then turns out the knife that he was frozen with last time he was cutting a fish with that actually all decided to load in.
Okay.
So like I've had some interesting bugs.
Mhm.
But yeah, either way, Nick, any interest in playing Cyberpunk?
I think maybe January when I build a PC, I might get it, but not right now.
hold up.
Yay, we got another
Yes!
one. We got another one. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
we know though,
that?
Nick is also gonna be using it for like his work as well. So it's just like
Yeah.
know, that's why PC Master Race. There's a reason behind it. It's not just games. You know?
What's that? What's that he's got? What's that? For his friends to build their PCs with? He kept it. He knows where it is. It's the thermal paste. I never run out of thermal paste. I just lose it. Not this time though. I have it.
What a
It's here.
guy. Joe, can we get another round of applause?
Yeah, 1 second.
Look at all these fucking cables I got.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Oh, Nick,
There
what's
we
your
go.
price range, Nick?
Let's not get into that.
Oh,
Yeah, I think he's still shopping around though.
Still shopping around.
He told
I
me
don't really have any,
10K.
I don't have any details.
I'm so excited.
I'm gonna get Alienware.
There you go.
Alienware. Okay,
Nice.
well, so yeah, I mean, Jerry, you got anything else on Cyberpunk?
I think it's only pretty much advice. If you could wait a little bit longer, right? To everyone who's watching, just like if you could wait a little bit longer, if you don't have like a crazy PC or anything like that, it's not your fault at all. That's something that CD Projekt Red has to work on. But just wait. Just wait.
That's your fault, Robin Williams.
It's not your fault. Yeah, it's not your fault. Just wait and you'll enjoy it, when it gets there, That's it.
Cool.
Oh.
Are we doing it?
What is this?
Let's go. I think this is it. All right,
Segue,
let's go.
Pat.
I see it.
What is this?
Our last
Clip the
segment.
week.
Who's gonna introduce it?
All right.
What is this?
Clip of the week. Let's go.
Oh yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
This is interesting.
Here's a
All right.
Cyberpunk highlight.
Let's go, Joe.
I don't think I see it on the live stream.
Oh, my bad. My bad. You're right. Let's go. Ready? All right.
Do you see it now, Pat?
I'll let
Coming
you know.
Coming there.
I'll be letting you know. I'm still dancing over there, so it would appear that it was not.
I
Alright.
was about to say, okay, who's playing Cyberpunk right now? Come
Yeah,
on.
fair.
I've been playing this whole time. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yar. What the fuck?
Just right at the end.
Is this like supposed to be like anti-humor? Like, is that what this is supposed to be?
No, I think it's first of all, I think it's just so random, and then but at the end was like it's just perfect. Where it's just like after the explosion is where the body just goes into flames. That's hilarious.
Just goes to show how diverse the gameplay is, you know?
Oh yeah, no, I wish that happens to me in my game. I'll tell you right now.
That just happened like randomly. Like that car just exploded.
Yeah, apparently.
That's incredible.
That's great. That's great.
But I feel like that shit happens like in a Far Cry game. You know what I mean? So
I mean, whatever NPC
Well, you
like that was, he got some enemies. You know.
Yeah, you figured they would be able to fix these cars by 2077 too. That's the thing.
It's just
Yeah,
electric
no.
batteries, bro. It's the
he was
Tesla.
like, finally, today. Imagine that guy just got his new like cyborg legs or something. He's like,
yeah, he got in a Subaru.
Today is the first day I'm driving.
His
In
wife
years.
woke up from the coma.
Oh no! Oh no!
Why you gotta make it so dark, Nick, all the time? Whether it's the
He's
clip
like-
of the week.
Today's the first day I'm gonna drive my car in 14 years. I've been in that coma.
Oh man!
My wife left me. My children don't know who I am. But at least I got my car. Ah!
Oh,
It's a
man,
wonderful
that's
life.
great. That was good, Joe. That was good. Thanks.
That was good. I appreciate that. Very topical as well.
Yeah,
Very much so. Very much so.
perfect timing.
So, listen, you little sons of bitches out there. Thank you very much for listening and watching our show tonight. Obviously, you can listen to this again if you want to, and you're a psycho on any major podcast network tomorrow. Maybe. I don't know. I have work.
Big shout out to our sponsor, Logitech.
Yes.
True. They sponsored
Sponsoring
my video
just
feed.
Pat.
They're not paying us yet. It's more so like a trial. So it's just like, you know, they're gonna feel it out first, and then then we see that check.
Logitech says it feels good.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so thanks everyone for listening, and I guess we'll see you next week, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week, Mandalorian boys.
Ooh.
I got a lot of Mandalorian to watch then, so
I mean, you're gonna love it.
I mean, yeah, but you know me, my philosophy is there's only time for video games, and like video games are for people who don't watch TV.
But you,
Okay.
you do both.
Yeah, you do both. You
How
play
would you
Nick?
host your show if you didn't do both?
Yeah.
All right, I'll
Very
fucking
true.
watch TV.
Caught you in
goddamn.
your lie.
Uh,
All right. I guess I'll start The Mandalorian tonight.
Yay! Yes. Okay.
All
That's
right. So I guess we'll see you next week then. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.